Senior Stay or Go TV. Today we have Mary Ball, who is the President and CEO of Alzheimer's San Diego. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Patty.
Mary, thank you for being here today. And before we get started, I must have a shout out to Vicki Mushak for really being the one who brought us together. And I know you're good friends with her. So Vicki, if you're watching, thank you very much.
Yeah, Vicki's great. Thanks, Vicki.
So tell us about Alzheimer's San Diego. And again, in terms of, we hear the word Alzheimer's, but that is really a subset of dementia. And tell us about your organization.
Well, Alzheimer's San Diego is a local independent organization to provide information, support, respite to families who are caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease. And, you know, we read every day in the paper that Alzheimer's is just a skyrocketing epidemic. I mean, just here in San Diego County, we've got over 65,000 people that are suffering from the disease today, and the numbers are just growing. So we're that local organization who provides free services to help families care for the person with memory loss.
So tell us some of the things that Alzheimer's San Diego does for the community, because there's a lot of them.
We offer a wide variety of programs and services. And the first thing that we've got a whole team of master's level social workers who are really experts in Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. And they are available to talk with people on the phone, to get them information, to provide them support, to answer questions. So that's the first service we provide. And we get over 1,000 calls a month from people who just need help, support, and information, because it is such a difficult job caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease. And for the most part, people are cared for at home by family members for the 8 to 10 years that people live with the disease. We also have classes and workshops. Last year we offered close to 300 classes and workshops. They are all free, and they range in topics from what does a diagnosis of Alzheimer's mean, to legal and financial planning, to what's the latest in Alzheimer's research. And so that's something that we touch thousands and thousands of people, providing them information and education on how to care for their loved one. We also have different social programs. We've got painting classes, music classes, exercise classes, and those are available free to people with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. And then, of course, we have a free respite program, because there's so many caregivers out there that they never get a break. And so we've got a team of volunteers, and we can provide 4 hours a week of respite.
Out to the home?
Out to the home, yes.
Oh,
so that's just invaluable to caregivers who are taking care of their person 24 hours a day.
Well, and then if they have a loved one and they bring them to the painting class or the dance class or the exercise class, it's socialization, and it also provides a little bit of respite at that time as well.
It does.
It is very difficult, because what I found, having had my own personal experience, is it's not the kind of thing you can plan, because you're really not sure what's coming next, because every individual has their journey in a very different way. So you can become educated, but you're not really sure what it is you're going to need.
Right, because the disease is changing all the time, and many people think that it's just a little memory loss, but as you unfortunately know, Alzheimer's starts out as memory loss, and then as the disease progresses through the brain, people lose the ability oftentimes to speak, to eat, to walk, lose the ability to control their emotions. And so it is so challenging for caregivers, and we want to be there for them every step of the way, whether it's with programs or support from our social workers, because it's a difficult job.
So if somebody's kind of wondering about their loved one, is that something that you could help them with? The Alzheimer's San Diego could help them get over that hurdle of denial, or what's the next step?
Sure, we get a lot of calls from people who are worried about themselves, or they're worried about a loved one or a family member. And we can certainly help them identify what's normal memory loss and what are the things that you should be worried about. We also do free memory screenings, and we've got a free memory screening coming up in August that's open to the public, where we've got a team of clinicians from Sharp Healthcare and our master's level social workers, and we can run people through some testing to identify whether there's concerns and whether they should go see a physician for an evaluation. So if people go to our website at alzsd.org, you can get information on our free memory screenings.
You guys have an amazing organization. We took a tour of it about a month or so ago, and really quite impressive for a relatively small staff doing an amazing amount of work. And I congratulate you on that and what you're doing here in San Diego, because it is an epidemic, and there's not a day that goes by there's not something in the newspaper. I mean, I was just watching yesterday the Glenn Campbell situation and things like that. So I congratulate you on everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Have you seen? I mean, you've been involved with this, quite a few years. And have you seen a change in the way people view Alzheimer's and dementia? And do they understand it a little bit more, or is there still a lot of education that needs to be done?
Well, I think that there's still a lot of education that needs to be done. Unfortunately, there's still some stigma around Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. And we're working every day to make sure that people understand what this disease is. Similar how there was stigma around cancer 30, 40 years ago. And just through public education and shows like this, we can educate the community that this is a progressive neurological disease. The brain is physically dying over time, and that's what drives the behaviors and the memory loss. And unfortunately, at this point in time, there's no treatment or a cure. So the best that we can offer is good care and support for families as they take care of their loved one.
So based on that, do you see your typical customer or client who comes in? Is it someone who is beginning to lose cognitive abilities and is concerned, or do you see more crisis where the family kind of didn't really think it was happening or was in denial, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, we can't deny it any longer?
Well, it's hard to identify our typical customer. We see the full range, both people who are experiencing memory loss and want to go to a physician, and we talk to people who have recently gotten a diagnosis, because we do have programs for people who are in the early stages of the disease. We are one of the only places in the United States that offers a cognitive stimulation therapy, and it's really for people who are in those very early stages of memory loss. How do we slow the decline? How do we keep their brain engaged and active? Then, of course, we have families who may be in denial about the condition of their loved one and get in a crisis situation. And, of course, we jump right in to help them whatever way we can. Our hope is that people call us and get educated early, because this is a disease. It's a fatal disease. It's going to continue to progress. And it's so much easier if you know what's coming next when you're caring for somebody, because it can present some very challenging circumstances, like wandering.
Yeah.
We've seen terrible situations when people have wandered with the disease and not been found. So we deal with all kinds of situations. Our hope is if families have any questions, concerns, call us early. We're happy to help.
Are there any charges for the programs? And
all of our programs are free, and we are able to do that by the support of the local community. So we raise every dollar to provide our programs and services, to pay our team of social workers, and the community in San Diego. Our donors have been very generous, and but the need is growing out there, so we continue to need to raise money. And with Alzheimer's San Diego, 100% of the funds raised here in San Diego stay here in San Diego to support our local programs and services. There's national organizations out there that raise money in San Diego, but that money doesn't necessarily stay here to support local families.
so what goes on in San Diego stays in San Diego.
With Alzheimer's San Diego, it certainly does.
Well, Patty and I are part of a team called Lead for the Cure. It's going to be a team, and I know we're early in the game in terms of fundraising, but we hope people will get on the website and go to Lead for the Cure team and put in a donation.
Well, and that's for our walk
October
that's coming up
21st
in October.
in Balboa Park. Yep.
And that's our largest fundraiser, our Walk for Alls. In October, we've got 2 walks, one in Oceanside and one in Balboa Park. So
Right.
thank you for your support.
We're very excited about it.
And the walk is, again, another way that we can provide our services free of charge and actually support local research as well.
Say if somebody wants to volunteer, is that something they can call and find out more information about? Are you accept
At
volunteerism?
Alzheimer's San Diego, we have hundreds of volunteers, and we put them to work, and we're so grateful for what they do. So if someone is interested in volunteering, go to our website, call our office, and we'd love to talk with them.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I know. We're very excited about what you're doing, because again, Patty, her mom suffered 12 years with the disease, and my Linda, her mom, passed away this year with Alzheimer's.
Sorry.
And what it does to a family is just, it's the worst. It's just because you really, like Patty says, you lose a parent twice, one to Alzheimer's and one to passing.
It's just,
And it's really an unbelievable process.
the emotional toll, the economic toll on families, it's devastating. And at some point in time, we're all going to be touched because the numbers are just too big. We're going to know someone, we're going to have a family member.
Or friends. It's like there's almost a day that doesn't go by that someone doesn't mention something.
Yeah, there's a lot of people impacted, and there's so many people that don't realize that Alzheimer's San Diego is out there. So we always ask for people to spread the word because people do need help and support, and we want to make sure they know where to go.
Well, we thank you for being here today, Mary. We want to get the word out. We want everybody to get on their website and make a pledge, volunteer, make a phone call.
Come walk with us.
Come walk with us. Come talk to us. So we thank you for being here today, and stay tuned for more Senior Stay or Go TV.